I ain't gonna lie, like, so I think I'm so seasoned to the point to where like, I've been through more than enough in my life that I can probably like in the first maybe the seconds of like engaging or exchanging with the person, I can already assess whether or not I can afford, based off of just my receptivity or my registry, I can really afford, I can already determine whether or not I can afford to extend myself or know how far I'm going to have to extend myself. I'm going to already know the wages of what I'm going to have to do. And overly extending myself, I'm going to already know how much patience is going to be required of me concerning that type of individual.
Think sometimes your sensory might underdevelop that range that you're looking for. Because sometimes, we predict our own range.
Alright, so that's what I'm saying. Like, far as me understanding or knowing me now, I'm at a point in my life where I know who I am, right? So I'm already of course I'm gonna always be going up to self-correction. I'm gonna always be able to digress or be able to, hold myself accountable enough for revision. So I ain't never not having that part of foresight in me. I think like whenever I do encounter or have my exchange though with the woman, I know it's just from my initial exchange with her, or me just assessing the individual she is, or just kind of registering her perspective, her conceptions, her demeanor. Spiritually, I have this type of knowing, and I know she would too, but I'm already gonna know what I can afford.
Okay, I'm gonna state the obvious. So love is intangible and anonymous at the same time. So when you speak of registry and actually depending on, your vastness of history and knowing your productivity with the conversation with women already, because you have met different dynamics of women in life up to now, you pretty already arranged what energies you can lock in with and basically what charismas actually keep boundaries in with you. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody has different boundaries. But we never know what these boundaries are, but you're setting your own boundaries off of the groundwork of just what you just said, assessing how she's receiving you and how you're receiving her.
Yeah, like far as me and like I say, I think I'm seasoned enough to where my degree of analytics based off of knowing who I am, based off of already being conscious of my preferences, already conscious of just who I am as an individual. I know the degree of my patience, and I can't say that because I can endure a lot far beyond sometimes my own physical and mental comprehension. You know what I'm saying? And I think that just understanding that about myself too, I just know the waging or what the cost may be, just upon initially engaging a person. Now, when I say within that exchange of me knowing or being able to assess that, when it comes down to love and stuff like that, I'm gonna already know that I can afford to love this person. I'm already gonna have that in a benevolent, aspect of me knowing who I am. I can initially just delve deep into giving a person that type of unconditional, affection, should I say, to the point of giving them leverage enough to grow in the knowing of or the understanding of who I am and what my love actually is. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that I know that the next woman that I actually have an exchange with or come in contact with and actually start building with, that's gonna be my wife. I know my next woman in my life is gonna be my wife.
Okay, the laws of conversation is fluid. So meaning both parties can pull nourishment out of this.
Of course.
So when you pull in the nourishment and feeding the nourishment back to the receiver or the actual supplier, I remember you breaking down to me on one conversation about, hey, I'm not talking to just the queen or the person itself. I'm talking to the origin who made her, to show your gratitude.
Okay.
That she's even delving into receiving your progress, receiving your advance, receiving your words of acknowledgement. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you acknowledge the actual character that you like or the actual presence of the energy that you're mixing in, how do you not persuade yourself not to turn away immediately? Let certain dynamics introduce themselves. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so when it comes down, I love a person as much as they want. I care as much as a person wants me to care, right? And it's gonna already be expressed based off of just how they concern themselves in my everyday life. And whatever their concerns are will end up being my concerns. All right, and if it's not, if I come across some inevident aspect about them, such as like a careless or thoughtless, unthoughtful, type of aspect about that person, then that's not some. Once I know that person is probably insensitive in that area, I'll make it known, right? And if that person doesn't see that as something to be exigent about, or find that as an actual concern, or I ain't gonna say make it a priority, but if it's not something like a priority to adjust, then that's my time to digress or reassess. Like, okay, who am I really in exchange with? You follow me? Because if I'm not worth that much energy to, then that'll let me know. Then, hey, it's time to step back off of whatever service I did provide. Because, like I said, like when you said about the origin, I'm speaking. You're speaking on just God. Yeah, of course. When it comes down to my exchange, though, it was never in vain because it was between me and God. Right. So, I don't care how much I expended myself in that aspect. To me, I'm writing myself just that poetically or just that deeply to my God. This is my praise. And the woman is serving as my altar. Right. And I should service as hers. Right. So at the same time, it's like, I might come across a woman who may not be worth, all that type of energy to the next man. Right. But I may come across, if all right, God gives breath in every one of us. And I'm always in that form of equity. I'm always looking at us at an equal state. I'm never being exaltive, as if my word or my consciousness or my knowing or my knowledge makes me more valuable than the next person who lacks the knowledge thereof. You know what I'm saying? So just because another person might say this female or person who just I come across may be careless and it wasn't worth the effort or energy, it may have not been. But in the moment, I service myself rightly and writing myself in praise thereof to my God to that degree. Regardless of that person actually being worthy of that for a lifetime, they still experience the essence of something that they are worthy of, such as the universe, just like God granted it to them. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think we challenge search sometimes?
Say that again, bro.
You find different programs that might seem, welcoming, or we might find some programs disturbing.
Yeah.
But yet we're still entertained. Yeah. To see if there's a different surface beyond this program.
That's all within, just my seasoning or what I find on what that I can afford. Okay. When I expend my energy to or attention to anything. Right. So even if I may be giving attention to something that may not be the reason for why I'm witnessing or I'm right now indulging to a certain degree. All right, and that's still within how God expounds through ascension and descension on both aspects of the universe. So when you saying channel surfing, we can speak on that basis. But just far as in just me exchanging on the topic of me speaking about me in a relationship with a woman, right?
Okay, what's the most recent interchange you had with women?
Exchange. I pitched to some women in the last couple months. Now I've come into exchange with a couple individuals that I found could, had the potential. Right. And I found to be easily swayed. One that I found may have been easily or binded by the consensus of just the majorities. Certain people kind of are influenced off of the narrative of others, the perspective or the trend of others. And some people live for the people. And I come across a lot of females that live still for, outside of... Exactly. And I think that was just, I ain't gonna say learning lesson, that was just something that I think God was just using me to write me upon their witnessing in a more meaningful way to let them know or to hint them in maybe a direction or letting them know what they could be worthy of. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I'm very genuine. So if a person does actually come to the aspect of seeing me or witnessing me, I know that they were granted some type of favor from God. You know what I mean? So that's something that I feel like, honestly, I feel like, me having, my exchanges between right now, my experiences from what I did come in contact with. It's cool because like, I'm not overly ambitious, although I'm required to have the ambition, right? And I'm required to have the right enough esteem to manifest whatever whatever my vision is concerning that person. Now, if that is not seen or met, then I know that, that person doesn't have the lenses or we're not on the same frequency. And accelerating to manifest things at the appropriate time, or measure in life. So, okay, cool. I still might have compassion, be like, all right, I'll just fall back and I'll check in later on and see where you at. You know what I'm saying?
But I learned on my waves or alterations that go on in the universe at any fathomable time, that we may have the line cohesion or the same path, but sometimes their range might not be the longevity.
Of course, I mean, that's why I said
it might be
only for that service and for that moment. And what I know how to do my job and step back.
Okay.
So I know there's a time for everything.
Correct.
So with me, I'm always, being maybe overly meaningful. I'm always giving 110%. Even if something that can be just the spur of the moment of me just meeting the chick and we just vibing in that moment. I'm gonna get deep with that. Because I'm loving my God, I'm loving on my God. Like life well spent with me. So I'm always like that. Because like the mom, not always to no one, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna live in that utter readiness, that deep ambience of the most potent ambience of love that I can be. And yeah, I'm still gonna have boundaries. I'm still gonna have a measure of not being too clingy or none of that. It's just more on some like my love thing. So I'm gonna write myself in an indelible way, as far as in a permanent way. So yeah, of course I'm gonna try my best to express my thanks to God in the greatest way that I can in every moment. So if I witness or come across a woman whose elegance I find to really move me, I'm like really gonna find the greatest hymn within through my actions to express to God through her and what I'm witnessing. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, and if she find like, you ain't my type, cool. I'm telling you, I'm shaking the dust off my feet, and it could be the next couple seconds from now, another essence of a woman may captivate me in a greater sense. And I'm never exhausted to where I'm like, dang, I just expended myself to this chick, and I ain't got nothing for the chick that just come along. Nah, I'm not drawn from that type of well of exhaustion. I was just speaking about that earlier. I ain't even the way, like I'm the well of where I draw my love, or I've experienced of drawing my love, is so eternal. It's so infinite, man. It's like exhaustion is something I have totally went beyond when loving a person who was totally careless about who I am as an individual, who really did not care about me at all. You know what I'm saying? Who really, really deceived me. And I still found love. I still found that I had the ability to love her even beyond measure. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about vicious woman. You know what I mean? And that taught me a lot about what God has given me. You know what I mean? And what I can actually afford. And then it gave me an independence too, because I'm like, all right, so who am I really in love with? And who am I really loving on? And who am I really actually in a relationship with? You know what I'm saying? I don't love this woman so deep past the point of her not loving me back or reciprocating that, and I still had love to give. So I just like, man, me experiencing it, and I was, you know what I'm saying, I've learned that it was just God. And that's just all it is to it. So I know my next woman, now I'm seasoned enough to understand and know the next woman, I know whoever she is, the one who really yields to my demeanor for real and actually acknowledges me or can actually see me from that spiritual lens that God has given her. I know that's the one that's gonna be my wife. But I just gotta leave myself open enough for her to come, man. You know what I'm saying?